we're going to be, so we're going to be doing, we're actually drawing some more still life objects. And so these objects can be anything around the house. So we'll talk about it. We'll just go through. All right. So different way to show value is due the last day of class, which is, I'll get that date. But so you're going to start with drawing paper. So we have our drawing paper. Just regular drawing paper, not charcoal paper, but drawing paper. Okay, because we're going to use graphite. Put my head in it. So we're using graphite. Yeah, so we're using graphite. That's why I want you to use your drawing paper. Okay. Now let's go through this. This will actually be on the Canvas site, but we're going to go through it right now. So again, you'll start on drawing paper. The drawing paper that you have is 18 by 24. You are going to trim it down to 15 by 14. Now there are a couple of ways to trim it down. Now right now this paper is mostly trimmed down. We have just a little bit of space there because I want to show you how to trim it down. So it's gonna be a little while. All right, so what you need is your ruler. You need a ruler or any flat edge. Any flat edge will do. So I'm gonna turn this around so you can see it. It's a little strange, but we have 2 videos. Okay, like again, I told you, so this has already been measured out for the most part, but I just want to show you how I measured it out. So here we have, it's already measured. Here we can see it's 14 this way. Also, it's a little bit longer than 15 here because we have, I'll show you on this side. So we see just a little bit of this space here. So how to trim it? A good way, one of the best ways to trim it is to measure first, both sides. You want to make sure you measure both sides. And so here, 15 is marked, and then you measure the other side as well. And then you mark it, and then you draw a line or not. But what some people tend to do is they mark one side and they go for it, and then it becomes all crooked. But if you mark both sides and then measure, and then you hold down your ruler there, and then you hold it down, make sure it's even where it's supposed to be, where it's marked, and then hold this and then pull it towards you and hold, do a little inchworm thing. So inchworm, pull it towards you, make sure this is down, you got a lot of pressure, bada boom, bada bang, it trimmed. So you can do that with each side. So you have some extra paper, but it's one in the trash. Okay. So as you can see, it's already been drawn on. So if we go back to the sheet of paper that we have, or the assignment sheet, we can see, we can go down the step by step. So on the paper, 15 by 14, this is what this measures. So this is 15, this is 14. And then you're gonna separate it, panels here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. And so you can, and also when you measure, make sure you have a metal ruler. If you see here, and I'll do it both cameras, but you see here, there's a little bit of space before the hash mark. Same thing here. You see a little bit of space before the hash mark. You start at that hash mark. Don't start at the edge of the ruler, because that space is there, because rulers over time start to wear away. And so what happens is people start at, eventually, as the ruler wears away, people start a little bit less than an inch. And so your measurement's off. So this, make sure your measurement's on, but you can see here, as I place it, bring this down here, bring that here. So you can see as I place it, it's at the hash mark 5 and 10, and do the same thing for the other side, 5 and 10. You can see it's marked there. And then you bring your ruler, draw a line, do the same thing for this side, and draw a line. On this side, we go 7 inches, mark 7, and do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you do both sides, mark 7, and then put your ruler to each point, and then you draw the line. Boom. So once you do that, it'll give you 6 panels. All right, so let's talk about it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose an object. Now, I'm gonna repeat this over and over again. Oh, I got paint on my thing. Just so you understand. So you're gonna get 6 objects. You're gonna draw 6 objects, and then you're gonna have them drawn in 6 different ways. So this is actually an orange. Doesn't look like an orange, but it's an orange. Just believe me. I'll write it down. So this is an orange, and we're gonna talk about it. But so again, you're gonna draw 6 objects 6 times. So I'm sorry, 4 times. Sorry, not 6. Yeah, 1 object 6 times, 4 times that. So you should have, ultimately you should have 4 pages like this. Should be 4 pages. So you can draw, sorry, 4 objects, not 6. I'm saying 6 because I started off with 6, but I was like, oh, that's probably too much. So I said, let's do 4. So you have 4 objects drawn 6 times 4. Or time. Yeah, I'm confusing myself. But ultimately, 4 objects on 1 sheet of paper like this. And so this is an orange drawn 6 times. I think I'm completely confusing myself. So each time you draw it, you're gonna add value in a different way. So the first one is rendering, how we've been doing in class, except we've been doing charcoal, but now we're gonna do pencil. And then the next one we're gonna do hatching. And then cross hatching. Bring this down. Start over. So the first one is going to be rendering, and then hatching, then cross hatching, and then stippling, and then I'll show you how to do flat value and then different shapes for value. Just kind of crazy, abstract, different way, the shapes. All right, so let's begin. So the first thing you want to do is draw your image. I'm sorry, draw your shape. So we have a shape. So I started with an orange. Now to maintain the integrity of the shape, if you have tracing paper, here I've already done it, where I've traced the orange, and I also traced the shadow as well. And then what I did was get rid of that. I turned it around. And then with a 2B or 3B or higher, actually, added this on the back. Make sure it's on the back. So this is the back. That way you don't. And this is the front. And this is the front. Okay. And so that way, when I draw, I can just go back and trace this. And I can place it, make sure it's in the middle. That way I know. So just like we did in class where we transferred. Just like that. And boom, there it is. Now, if you don't have tracing paper, that's okay, because you literally use any kind of paper. The only difference is is you start here. You would start on another sheet of paper. And then you would draw, let's say this is the orange. See that? This is the orange. You start on this. Get your shadows there. Just like that. And you work all the kinks out. Let's say this is perfect because that's how I am. Just kidding. And then on the back, since you can't really tell what you can see because you don't have X-ray vision, just get the entire thing. So this is a scratch sheet of paper, as you can see. So you can't really see through, but that's okay. You don't need to see through. And then you take it, so bring it over. And then you can just, again, go back over, just like this. And then, boom, there you go. And I can see you just need to go back just a little bit. Okay, now, so let's go back to our paper here. So on 2, we're still on number 2. It says choose one object to draw 6 times. Actually, I'm sorry, 4 times. Yeah, I'm sorry, 6 times. 6 times, one object 6 times. In each panel, draw the object and add the values in a different ways shown. Rendering, hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, flat value, and any shapes. And then you're gonna do step 2 4 separate times. So you should have 4 sheets of paper, 4 different objects, 4 sheets of paper, each one of those objects drawn 6 times, just like this. Okay. Now, also, you want to make sure the actual drawing is 4 inches or larger, because if you draw too small, it actually gets harder because you try to it takes more time because you got to slow down. So here I've already started. We can see here I've already started, but none of these are complete, and I did it on purpose because you just don't have a lot of. I know you don't want to just sit there and just watch me do things. But now, before we get started, we have to choose our palette. The go-to is to use one pencil, but don't use just one pencil. Every pencil, pencils come in different values. So right now I have actually a couple of 5B. I have HB, 2B, 4H, HB, 2B, and 5B. 5B now is my darkest pencil. And for the darkest values, you want to add, use the darkest pencil. 5B is dark. When you have a B next to the pencil, that means the base. So that's how dark. So the higher the number, so we can see here, the higher the number, the darker the color. So 5B is high, and this is what I used here. Is my 5B. Let's see. Now, what I'm trying to grab now is a scratch sheet of paper. Now I got a scratch sheet of paper. The reason why I have a scratch sheet of paper, I'm gonna put this down so I don't smudge what I already have, because I want to put my hand down. And so here we have the 5B. See how dark that is. And this is somewhat medium pressure, mainly because I don't want to see any strokes. Like this. And then to get that smooth transition, we have what's called a stump. If you don't have a stump, you can also use a paper towel. I know they're very expensive and hard to find these days, but any napkin can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be a paper towel, but we have our stump here, and I'll show you both. They both, so this is basically paper. This is paper. And so we have this. So we can see here, it says smooth transition. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Ooh, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. All right. Okay. All right. And then next, we have hatching. Now, I'll be right back. The orange actually fell. Let me grab this orange. Okay. All right. So we have the orange, and it was actually up here. I'll show you. I'll go pull this up. Okay. All right. Oops. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. Now with this, okay, I'm working two cameras now. All right, so this is the orange. We can see the values of the orange match the values of the drawing so far. All right, you can pause it, but later. All right. All right. So, okay. So that's a rendering. Now, with the hatching. So before I did this, so what I did, how I got here was, and we'll come down here and look at it, and we can. Actually, let's bring this back down. Two cameras. Okay, all right. So how I got here, and then we'll start with this. So we drew this, and then basically we did I don't know if I say we, but I did a quick outline, just like we did in, that's funny. Just like we did in class, where we did the lay-in of the values. So that's basically what I did first, and then I did hatching. So basically, I took my 5B for the darker values, and I'm just drawing with line. Now, the closer the line, the darker it looks. So here you can kind of see the line where I drew, kind of outline. So this is my dark values, and then a little bit of a little bit lighter values. And so there's a couple ways to do hatching. So here, one way is to hatch using the volume of the shape, right? That's one way. So here, it's lighter. I can take my 2B, actually for the lighter values, like so. So just hatching. So that's one way. Another way is to just kind of just go for, that's cross hatching. Sorry about that. But it's kind of just like one way. We can get rid of that. So that's hatching. So hatching is just one way. cross hatching on this other side is 2 ways. So I'm start again with my 5B. So my 5B, the closer the lines, the darker it is. And then cross hatching. So basically it looks like a bunch of tic-tac-toes that no one's actually playing. So the further away the lines are, the lighter it looks. The closer the lines are, the darker it looks. But it's all cross hatching. That's cross hatching. So we can see a transition dark to light, and over here dark to light. Now, stippling, you could actually use this one. Yeah, you can actually use this one pencil. It's actually a 6B, but it's the same concept as the hatching. The closer the dots are, the darker it looks. The further away the dots are, the lighter it looks. So this is the shadow. And as you're adding the value, you want to continue to look at the object. Continue to look at the object. Like have it in front of you and look at it. Don't try to remember. Don't guess. You know, you can block out. Here I'm blocking out. So here I can say, you know, how dark I want it to be. This is light. And then here. So further away, let me get my, grab my sheet of paper so I don't smudge. Just like that. Just like that. Now, so the next thing we're gonna do is flat value. So flat value is you see a lot of that in cartoons, abstract work, but basically flat value is when there's like not a slow transition from light to dark. It's paint. God dog it. It's on me. Jeez. That's okay. Where did paint come from? Make sure it doesn't happen again. Don't know where that came from. And so that's flat value. You can actually block it out. I'll put this back up so I can see it. Yeah, like that. Like this. And then you do sort of like a fill in the blank. So this is actually 6B. I can say this is 6B. This could be my my 2B. And I can maybe do a little bit of H here, right? This is my H. And then you basically fill it in. So it's a strong, ooh, jeez. I'm in my garage and there's like ants keep crawling all over me. Hopefully it came from the orange. So I'll do a 6B next to a 2B so you see what I'm talking about. So that, so see I labeled it, but I can also cover that. 6B. So you see the 6B. I'm gonna grab my 2B. There's my 2B. And you'll see the difference. Like look at the difference, like already you can see it's It's not as dark. I'm actually go a little bit darker so you can see the difference. So you can see, yeah. So this is more pressure. So the more pressure you put, the darker it gets. So look at that. Look how dark. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about this. There we go. So it feels like a line, but it's not a line. It's just shape to shape. I'm not gonna do all of the H, but you can. But I want you to see the difference. H. Oh, actually, it's my H. This is HB, but you'll see a difference. There's not a huge difference between HB and 2B because there's only one in between, but you can see some difference. But it's a flat value. But you don't have to do it just like, see what I'm doing with just pencil. You can do the same thing with it can still be flat. And I'm just gonna separate this just so you can see. It can still be flat even if you shave. Jeez. I'm getting covered by ants. So I'm actually take this. And then it's still flat, because flat basically means it's not a slow transition from light to dark, just like that. All right. And since this got covered by paint, I'm just gonna use this right here, and then I do want to make this a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna trim it. Like this. So this is where you can get, so this last one is where you can get creative. You can get really creative. So you're still gonna start like you did before, just kind of shape out the values. I'm looking at the orange here, but it's up here, but so. So you can have a little fun with this, as long as there's a value change. So you know this is the dark value, then we have a medium, and then we have a light. And then you do highlight. There's a highlight. This would be the highlight. So let's say you can do simple shapes. Like, all right, maybe I want to do circles. So the shapes are basically the same thing with stippling and hatching, where if they're together, the more they're together, the darker it looks. Or maybe you like squares. Or maybe you want to get a little crazy and do something wavy. I wasn't trying to rhyme, it just came out that way. Or maybe you like The Simpsons, and so you want to do a lot of Homer Simpson. This is my best version of Homer Simpson, by the way. Just do a bunch of those close together. Or maybe you like, I don't know, cheese. You want to do shapes of cheese. These are blocks of cheese, by the way. The principle is the darker values, the shapes are closer together. The lighter values are further apart. And then that is my HB. I want to get a 6B. You can tell it. You can see the difference. Look at that. These are my circles. Or maybe you want to go, maybe you feel a little crazy and you want to do shape on top of shape. Like, look, I'm going to put this round peg in this square hole. You know what I'm saying? That's your life. But you can do that. You can do that. Maybe a Charlie Brown fan. Just believe me, this is Charlie Brown. Okay. And you may even do a Charlie Brown face. That's Charlie Brown, right? That looks like, yeah, that's good enough. But again, the closer the shapes are, the darker they are. Also, I'm using, this is my 5B, and these were HBs. So you can actually see the difference between the weight of the pencil. So this is really thick, this is really thin, and of course the 5B is darker. So in those lighter areas, where's my HB? Go back to my HB. You know, circles, squares, triangles. I flipped it on you. You didn't see that coming. You did not see that coming, but there it is. There it is. And of course you do the same thing for the shadows. Circles, circles, circles. And then this is really light. I want to get darker because shadows are dark. This is actually my 5B. But you can get, okay. And that's basically what we're doing. So it's all about value and showing different ways of value. So not only is it different techniques, but they also have different feels. So conceptually, they feel different. Like this, since they're different shapes, it feels fun. This feels, they could all be expressive. Actually, they're all expressive, but they could say certain things and create a story just by the value changes. So here there's a lot of movement when you're using lines, and then if you're realistic, it's like it just makes you feel more serious in a way, and this could be a little bit more fun and serious, kind of blending together. It just really depends on who you are and also what you're trying to say. But basically, that's what we're doing. All right, and then I'll stop recording. Now you start. Oh no, that's really small. I'll figure it out. Oh, there we go.
The recording has stopped.
Okay. So that's basically what it is. Do you have any questions, Edgar? Class?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
Okay.
Just got 4 sheets of the same thing.
Yeah.
With different.
Yeah. So again, you should have 24 drawings altogether with 4 sheets.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sounds easy enough.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
You sure about that?
Do you know what? Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter now. But because the charcoal paper I used was so crappy.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're paying $2 or less for the charcoal paper, that's probably pretty bad.
See, I didn't know if the Art Warehouse store was open, so I just went to Michael's.
Okay.
And I got the book.
Yeah.
The charcoal paper.
Yeah. If you buy in a pad, then those papers are really bad.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I figured that one out the bad way.
Yeah. I mean, if you put more charcoal on,
yeah,
then it's a lot easier to manipulate. But if you try to be like real thin with the charcoal, then it's just really hard to blend. Yeah, if you have that paper, it's best just to put a lot of charcoal on.
Oh, okay.
That's the best way.
Yeah. Also, the white I had bought from there was so crappy too.
Yeah. If it comes in a pad, it's not gonna be good. I mean, there's some bad individual sheets, but ultimately there's only like a couple. It's like there's only a couple that are bad, as far as like weights, but the rest of them are decent to really good. But just know if charcoal comes in a pad, if charcoal paper comes in a pad, it's not good.
Okay. All right.
Just know that. Yeah. All right. You got any questions?
I don't think so.
You sure about that?
I think we're pretty good now.
All right. Yeah. So this video will be posted. I got a different one. I'll see which one's the best. Might be this one, but we'll see. Cause I got another one over here. Let's see. This video taken. So
okay.
it was just me drawing. So it's a little closer and a little better, and the video quality is better.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, actually, still
Well, I'll
recording.
put it in case I get stuff there. Kind of, you know.
Oh, that sucks. Better stop. That's weird. Okay. Well, if you got it, so I'm gonna post the sheet on like right now onto the canvas so you know exactly what to do, and then I'll have to edit the video, and then it should be up later tomorrow night. But
And it's due on May what?
let's see.
I don't even know when the school semester ends.
Yeah.